my first one, so we'll get right into it. So, Dr. Loop, a pleasure to have you with us on today. Go
Same
ahead and
here.
just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a chiropractor, entrepreneur, investor, author. Got my hands in quite a few things, but graduated chiropractic school in 2004. Got out of practice and just wanted to help people like most docs do. And I was a little bit naive in business, certainly. I thought I was just going to hang my sign and then people would come in. And while that kind of happened a little bit, it wasn't what I expected. So
Mm.
I can't tell you that I started off practice like, super successful right out of the gate because I went through a point in time where I was pretty desperate. I was $130,000 in student loan debt. I don't know what the amount is now, where everyone has to go and invest, and had like 10,000 maxed on a credit card. My got to a point where it was so low. My ex girlfriend's father had to cut me a check for $2,000 to float me along, so I could pay my bills for the following week. And that taught me, like, man, I'm a chiropractor. I want to help a lot of people. I feel really good and I'm doing some great things, but I didn't understand the business element. So my once that situation happened, the trajectory in my life shifted, and I began to communicate better to patients and to grow my practice to help more people. And eventually that led to an accidental career in consulting too, where I help doctors grow their practices using social media like Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot. But my heart and passion is chiropractic all the way. And it's just
Yeah.
interesting how our paths veer sometimes.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's really interesting. For those of you that are just now joining us, Dr. Matthew Loop here has a website that has the full story of just that whole thing of him going from graduating school, receiving the loan, and just changing his trajectory, his mindset, and everything. I find it really interesting that you did all of that on MySpace, by the way. That was yeah,
Were you on
that was
MySpace?
yeah, I was on MySpace when I was like probably seventh grade, maybe
Man, it
eighth
was so
grade.
cool. It was so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
We didn't have to worry about Mark Zuckerberg selling us out, or censoring our stuff or whatever. It was just
mhm,
chill, relaxed, and but yeah, it was interesting how social media has evolved. There's just,
definitely.
in my opinion, there's still never been a better time to reach and connect with so many people in the community and get the message out about chiropractic. And
Yeah.
if you're a student watching this right now, it's just a good time to be alive in spite of all the chaos in the world.
Definitely. And with me being I'm a student as well at Life Chiropractic College.
Right on.
I'm a 10th quarter right now, going into clinic and everything like that. And I will say that marketing, I'm taking a marketing class right now as part of our curriculum, and it is kind of one of the most daunting things. What is the mindset kind of, or what was kind of the aha moment for you? You mentioned a couple books that you read. What were some things that kind of changed your perspective on how to market yourself better?
Exactly. So I read a book called Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, which
Mhm.
taught me about buying habits and why people make the decisions that they make in a lot of regards. That opened my eyes to a lot of just, as opposed to being a consumer and seeing like the advertising on television or seeing why certain things are scripted maybe the way they are. I'd like you started thinking, well, how can I ethically use this to improve my communication with my people, and which to ultimately lead to a better outcome? You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
that was one of them. There was another great book called E-Myth by Michael Gerber,
Mhm.
and that was a book that talks about the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager of any business. Doesn't matter if you're a chiropractor or if you're an accountant or anything else. There's always those three hats that you have to wear. And most chiropractors are great technicians. We adjust
Mhm.
really well, and in some cases that produces a lot of referrals because you're helping people. But in the vast majority, if you don't understand how to compel people to at least share the message, then you're not going to get as many referrals as you think. So that was a book that opened my eyes, at least to the core business components. And I've had just a lot of fortunate uh, mentors over the years in business and marketing. And when I think of marketing, I think it's communication. Quite simply,
Gotcha.
the better you communicate and market to your ideal person, the more likely they are to say yes. I mean, if you're a student right now, eventually you'll be in practice, and somebody that actually has a problem, of course, most people are going to initially probably see you because they have a problem. They don't understand the subluxation complex or
Mhm.
wellness or maintenance adjustments. They don't get that yet. But if they come in somebody with a herniated disc or what have you. They know they need to be seen, but yet there's just mental blocks in their mind, like, well, I can't do this right now, or I don't have the money, I don't have this or that. And so you just have to learn how to communicate in a good fashion with them, so that you knock down the barriers of skepticism in their mind, and ultimately they want to see you.
Got you. Yeah, that's really interesting. And we talk about some of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
We look into things such as like the red velvet rope policy and kind of creating your ideal patient.
Yeah.
For some of our viewers who may be looking into chiropractic school or even just any healthcare profession, how ideal is it to kind of come up with or at least imagine your ideal patient or kind of create them to kind of fit and understand where and what you want to market?
You should have your ideal patient avatar for sure. Like, if you
Mhm.
envision a big pediatric practice, you want to get very specific. I envision myself taking care of moms between the ages of 25 and 35 that have, one, two kids, and they're reading these publications. The more you know about your prospective patient, the better you can actually target that person on a platform like Facebook or other channels, to put your message in front of them, to give some of your best content and build trust and rapport, so they eventually come and see you. So it's extremely powerful. You should know exactly who you want to serve in the community.
Got you. Yeah, definitely. Um, you mentioned in your bio that you like shortly after starting to master the whole marketing thing through MySpace that it kind of just doubled as far as your profit value
Mm-hmm.
over your practice.
Mm-hmm.
How long exactly were you in practice, and then what was the mindset like after that, like moving forward?
Yeah. So when I graduated in 2004, MySpace, I started using MySpace, I think it was like a late 2005 ish, somewhere around
Mhm,
there. And then I got really good at it in 2006, just realizing that it was a business medium, that these were the real people. And I
mhm,
started building my network, and eventually that turned into an extra 5 new patients a month from MySpace, which turned into an
mhm,
extra 10. And word got around to other colleagues. They started asking me what I was doing, and I began to show them. So it accidentally, uh, it was cutting my practice time, and I had to figure out how to turn that into some type of information product. So, my before I started consulting, I was in practice. I mean, really like a couple of hard years in terms of like just grinding it out and doing whatever. And then again, mostly the right time. And I still have the practice in Georgia too. That's
mhm,
got an independent contractor in there. He does his own thing, and
mhm,
it's a great source of passive income for me. And if I ever go there, I can certainly see patients of mine that I've had for many, 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 many years. So it's kind of the
mhm.
nice. It's the best of both worlds.
Got you. And is that your only practice that you have, or have you thought about opening up multiple practices? Or
No, I've had more in the past, like investing wise,
Mhm,
but I at this stage, in terms of investing, I invest not so much in chiropractic practices right now, but I wouldn't throw it off the table. If there was the right opportunity, if there was depending on the situation that I felt might be mutually beneficial. But yeah, I haven't really crossed the like. I have friends, for example, they have 12, 15 chiro offices. That's their franchise. They do great work there, but I've never really thought about doing that myself. No.
got you. Got you. Switching gears here, and kind of going back to your story. You are definitely a story, and again, if you guys haven't read his bio, we'll try to post the link to his website, where you can find a wealth of information in his bio, which is amazing. It's a story of momentum, honestly, and just turning a negative into a positive, and just putting that fire up under you to blast yourself to the next level.
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind, Doc, just telling us, as far as being students, we go through a rigorous program with chiropractic school.
Hmm.
And just for prospective students who may have been told that, it's a whirlwind of a program, but haven't gotten the fullness of it, just could you touch on just the idea of getting back up after falling? Because that is something that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's bumps in the road. I mean, Cairo school wasn't all easy. Now, it helps when you're passionate about something. Once I got to
Hmm.
graduate school, because I went to life during my first 2 years, then got caught up in there was a whole accreditation mishap that happened, and I had to transfer after that. But yeah. I mean, even if you're passionate and enthusiastic, there's a lot of work. Sometimes there's stuff that is just drilling over and over. For me, I'll give you an example. When we had biochemistry in school, at
Hmm.
the time that we had it, I wasn't thinking as much about nutrition as it related to the body. So it seemed like a very dry subject for me at the time, and that was like pretty difficult for me. I had to put extra time, extra work in there, and sometimes I think the first test that I took it wasn't too well, and I'm like, oh man, I got to pull myself out of here. Now,
Hmm.
as I got later in school and learned more about the human body and nutrition and how biochemistry affects everything, I said, oh man, that's where it comes into place. So that was interesting. But yeah, there are just times that you get punched in the face, like Mike Tyson talks about, and that really tests you. Like when I went to Cairo school, even just getting in for me, I had to kind of go through some hoops and hurdles just to get in. I mean, it wasn't even easy for that. I had the grades. It just was the financial thing and like
Hmm.
piecing this stuff together, getting out of my comfort zone to move to a new state without my family. And
Hmm.
but I think the more that you develop a mindset of getting comfortable being uncomfortable and challenges that come your way, I always view myself as in the right place at the right time.
Definitely.
Regardless of what challenge comes in my life, this is what I need to go to the next level. So if you're getting knocked down hard and if you're just frustrated, you also have to analyze too the peer group that you're around, because if you have a good peer group, especially in school, you're going to keep supporting and motivating you guys. And that was one of the hacks for me. There were times where even before tests, I would go over to a friend, the other friend's house. We would study together, if we're learning the orthopedic tests, and we just keep practicing, drilling and drilling. So if you can find and surround yourself with dedicated students that are already in the program, and you're working together for a common goal, to pass this class or to be a master of clinical excellence. I mean, that's really powerful, and that will just allow you to move mountains.
Mm. Definitely, definitely. Wise, wise, wise words. Um, as far as the profession, what do you see as your vision for future plans, or what do you see as the future of chiropractic, and what are your plans as far as to help with that?
Yeah, so the future of chiropractic is expansion. That's
Mhm.
my goal. That should be the goal, is expansion and to help every person in the world. I mean, I think every person needs a chiropractor.
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
it's just kind of common sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, people need it for a lot of reasons. Everyone needs a good body mechanic, and to experience a better life through the old saying that structure dictates function. A lot of people are having some issues that they don't need to be having, and they don't understand about optimal health and healing and such. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for students and chiros in today's time. I love training and speaking. I've spoken on some of the biggest stages in chiropractic, and that's fun for me to empower docs live. I mean, I love doing the online stuff too, but when I'm face to face, it really I don't know, it just it's like a big adrenaline rush for me because you see the light bulb going there off in their eyes, and bam, yeah, I'll see these docs a year later and like, I applied this and that. And now I'm like, my practice is tripled, and practice triples, meaning you're helping 3 times as many more people in the community, which means that you're making a bigger impact. Obviously, you're doing better financially. So it all goes together. And, I'm nothing but optimistic as far as the profession's going. We have our own problems periodically too, but, we've got some like amazing leaders in our field that have done a wonderful job, and I just see nothing but good things.
Definitely, definitely. Um, as far as putting leaders out in the field, and of course touching back onto marketing,
Mhm.
a lot of students, especially now with today's social media and today's COVID-19 stay in shelter in place situation going on across the nation and pretty much across the world, what would be some advice that you can give as far as diversifying yourself within social media now? Because I mean, we see social media marketing everywhere,
Mhm.
as far as Instagram, as far as Facebook, as far as just literally every social media platform. Um, what can you say to kind of just something?
Well, you have to become a master at social. You
Mhm.
have to, because of how the world has changed and evolved. I had so many doctors, for example, as clients, and eventually, when you get out and you in practice, you can use Facebook, Instagram, and all these channels to drive traffic to your events. So if you're going to
Mm,
have like a ladies' night or a dinner with the doc or some cool thing, you can just let a lot of people on Facebook know through their advertising, and you could pack a house, 30, 50, 100 people in a room. But during a pandemic, that's not possible. So a lot of doctors that were thriving and actually breaking records, they were utilizing a lot of the strategies that I talked about with social media, because that was their only source of patients, that and referrals internally. So it's even more important to become a master. And again, that doesn't mean you have to know every techie, geeky thing, by the way. It's just about knowing what needs to be done. And you, as the doctor, you need to play a part in the content creation, because no one knows chiropractic like you do.
mhm,
And, you just have to create a human side of yourself. People want to do business with brands and businesses that have a human face, a human personality these days. And that, if you do it right, creates a lot of trust, builds rapport, and you're able just to uh, like position yourself as a celebrity expert almost in the space. So you become like the Dr. Oz of the marketplace essentially, and everyone wants to come and see you. So you have to get good at mastering social. Now, Facebook for most of you will still be the highest leverage. Instagram is very popular too, over 1 billion users, and in some markets it's much more popular. But for the most part, Facebook, you still want to milk Facebook for what it's worth, and next year could be interesting. They might get broken up like Google
mm,
is about to. Who knows? So, but you've got channels like LinkedIn, which is more of a business professional network,
mhm,
extremely powerful. You have up and coming risers like TikTok, which I'm actually a huge fan of, because of the fact that you can put a video up and have 100,000 views tomorrow. My wife actually just did it, which is insane. The amount of video view content. Yeah. So
wow,
we have a lot of opportunities if we tap into the right markets. You never want to just put all of your eggs in one basket, because the reality is we don't control what Google or Facebook or any of these channels do tomorrow. So we should plant firm roots in one area, but then you've got to diversify. So that's a really important thing to understand.
got you. And then, of course, as you say, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. But as far as how can I say this? As far as like posting, right?
Uh-huh.
Is there a thing such as posting too much or posting too little, or can you find a middle ground where you post the same thing on different social media platforms and that counts? Or, for students who are busy,
Yeah, yeah.
or, docs who are busy and don't want to post too late at night or too early in the morning.
Well, you're going to have to figure out where your market is online most. So
Yeah.
you can start, if you have time, once per day. You should do at least once per day. That takes literally a couple seconds, could be
Mhm.
a couple minutes, depending on what you are posting. If it's a video or a quote graphic or some research or whatnot. As you develop a fan base on Facebook, if they don't see content on a regular basis from you, they forget about you, and you don't want to be obscure or irrelevant in their eyes. So at least once per day. Now, as you get more involved and you're more efficient with your time, you can post 3 to 4 times per day, depending on how many fans you have. And I say that because you got to realize that when you post on Facebook, if you're lucky, maybe 20% of all your fans will see your content, maybe. And that's because Facebook's algorithm, they limit your distribution because they want you to pay for advertising to reach your base.
Mhm.
And that's just the game. It's a pay to play network. So the sooner you understand that, we can put some dollars behind certain posts or testimonials or educational videos that we create. So there has to be a consistent budget going on, but starting off, just have some consistency in your posting.
Mm. Okay.
Now,
All
you
right.
can also take that, for example, you're talking about duplicating posts, whatever. If you post something on Facebook, you can easily post that graphic to Instagram. There might be a time and place to switch things up because of the different people that might be on those platforms. But for the most part, yeah, you can post the same content there.
Got you. Okay. Cool deal. Cool deal. Well, Doc, I think I think that's about it, unless you have anything else that you want to try to give us students. Of course,
Mhm.
you have a wealth of knowledge, and we're more than willing to take anything you got.
Well, I mean, if you all have any questions, you can find me on social media very easily at Matthew Loop, MattheWLoop. I'm most active probably on Twitter and Facebook, I would say. So either one of those, and I'm on Instagram, TikTok, all those platforms too. But yeah, it's just Rome wasn't built in a day. And if you're a student, and if you do know where you practice, and if you know maybe what your practice name is going to be, you can start to plant the seeds right now in the market. I tell you what, if I was in school, and I mean, I wasn't at that time, I wasn't the best steward of my money, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, but I would have, I would have taken a percentage back and put it toward building my brand locally. Now, with Facebook, you can get so much bang for the buck if you do it correctly. You could literally have a video out there circulating to your market, like, "Hey, this is John Smith, so and so, and I'm in school. I'm in school to be a chiropractor, and this is one of the things that I learned, and I'm going to be opening up a practice here in the next 2 years or the next year." So you could like set the stage and proactively just go out and give the community great content, like, hey, here are 2 simple stretches that you can do for sciatica pain. Or since it's fall, here's how to rake the leaves without injuring your back, or and how to do it with keeping a great posture so your body is aligned. Like little helpful things that everyone
Yeah.
needs to know. And you can be an asset. So by the time you open up in your community, people are going to know who you are. You're going to
Yeah.
have that facial recognition. So that would be very intelligent to do, even if it's only a couple $100 a month. That's like a few beers. You could just
Mhm.
not, and I mean, just be more efficient with your funds. So that's what I
Yeah.
would have done.
Definitely, definitely. That's 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 really good. Thank you very much for all of
Hey,
that,
you got
sir.
it.
I for one am definitely going to apply this. I have a small Instagram that I'm trying to be more dedicated to as well.
Right on.
So for Cairo students, it
Mhm.
definitely, like Dr. Loop said, try to manage your time best as well as you can.
When do you
Um,
graduate, Xavier?
I graduate in a year, so
Okay. Right on.
December of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, I plan on practicing in LA. I
Nice.
already have kind of more of a word of mouth kind of thing going on down there, but I have been making strides towards taking it online and doing better with my marketing.
That's smart.
Um, and so yeah, this conversation definitely helped me a lot, and some things that I'm definitely going to try to apply more.
Yeah, in a very a good resource for everyone. I wrote a book called Social Media Made Me Rich. Here's how I can do the same for you. And this book is a tactical guide to, like, even if you're just opening up, it's not specifically for Kairos, but there's a lot of information in there about starting and growing a brand and a business that like you can apply. It's very foundational. When once you master those concepts, it's a lot to chew on. Don't read it before bed because there's a lot of strategies. But if you get one thing implemented at a time, and you just build and build and build, eventually that snowball turns into an avalanche, and you just become a household name in the market that you serve, and your practice will get very busy.
Got you. Is that, and again, plug in the website. Is that the same book that you offer the first 6 chapters for?
Yeah. You can download the
Yeah.
first chapters for huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so guys, if again, plug in this man's website is a wealth of knowledge, and like you said, don't read it before bedtime because it's a lot, and you'll feel very overwhelmed as I do right now of like, yes, I got to do all of the things. But yeah, sign up for that. Are there any upcoming seminars, webinars that you may have or anything like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, if like we just hosted an event in August here in Atlanta called the Social Media Revenue Summit. That's my flagship event every year. And if you just Google Social Media Revenue Summit and my name, you'll pull up some highlight videos so you can see what that's about. But that's a cool experience to be in the room with, like, I mean, passionate doctors, but like 6, 7, 8 figure earners. I mean, the high quality people in that room that are doing big things in their practice, in their business, and also in life. We also host a seminar in the Caribbean every year. This year we couldn't do it, obviously, but next year at the very end of April, it's at Atlantis in the Bahamas. So if you want to get away and 3 days. We do 8 to 12 each day, so we have the rest of the day to do cool excursions. But it's just like you learn, you play, you party with just some amazing people in the profession that are doing big things, and you learn the newest social media strategies. And like I said, if y'all have any questions at any time, you can just look me up on social, and we'll go from there.
Is that one chiropractic based only, or is it for all professions? Or
It's mostly chiros. I would say probably 80% of the room in attendance are chiros. Yeah, so
okay.
it's like it's like not chiro based specifically, but like 50% of my clients are chiros, so a lot of them will attend those events, and you're going to be in good company. And sometimes it's important to go out of the profession too. If you're looking to like communicate and market, you can get great ideas from people in our profession, but you can see who the movers and shakers are in different fields and analyze what they're doing and apply that to your practice very easily.
Definitely. Well, thank you again, Doc. If you wouldn't mind just giving us your Instagram or your handles for your social medias one more time so that we can all have it again.
Yeah, Instagram.com/Matthew Loop, and then Facebook.com/Matthew J Loop. That's my fan page. And then pretty much anywhere else it's Matthew Loop. So
okay, well, thank you again, Doc. I don't think I introduced myself at the beginning of this, but I'm Xavier Crawford, filling in for Dr. Ben Glass for the Pre-Chiro page. Thank you again for coming on and visiting us. If you guys want to follow me, my Instagram handle is Cartier_chiropractic, CARTIER_CHIROPRACTIC. Thank you guys for enjoying this. Thank you, Dr. Loop, for joining us and sharing your wealth of knowledge.
My pleasure.
Take care, guys.